What's up, YouTube? Today's video is going to be a little bit of a treat. It'll probably teach you some life lessons about why you should always double check what you're doing, or you're going to end up like this person, right? This is the person, this is a look of a person in shock. They pretty much just saw something. They saw an irreversible mistake. They accidentally clicked on the wrong harvest craft for a multi-mirror item, and it's major oops, right? So I'm going to go over exactly what happened in this process, the item behind it, and what they're doing to fix it, and how you could avoid making one of these costly mistakes, or you might just be ending up playing the rest of the league forever. And yeah, so let's get straight into it. Let's see what the actual background of this story is. So on TFT, you could sell harvest crafts, and harvest crafts are something that you can find in the Forbidden Trove Discord. You go to here in Archnemesis softcore services, and you'll see there's a harvest want to sell section, and you can buy any sort of craft you want. There's synthesized item, there's enchant weapon, there's reroll suffix lucky. So in this section, there's also a bricked item section, and someone brought to my knowledge that someone actually messed up a multi-mirror item, roughly 8 mirrors in cost. So you can sell the harvest crafts on TFT, like I said. And this happens when you accidentally select the wrong craft, right? So when you go into your bench and you have a bunch of crafts, especially if they kind of look the same and they have similar wording, then it's going to be kind of screwed, right? So I have a bunch of Reforged more likelies. So if you accidentally have something sandwiched in between, you could theoretically do the wrong one if someone buys multiple of the same crafts. Now, this story is happening to someone who is one of the best players in PoE, one of the few people who have deep delved to 6k with a self-cast skill, one of the few players with multiple mirror items, one of the few players who has gotten highest Stormbrand DPS every single league in a row. So this person is not a chump or some random scrub. This person is an insane player, and it really just shows you if you don't double check what you're doing, you can easily mess up, right? So yeah. But what is the actual item in question? The actual item in question is a synthesized ticket bow with +1 arrow implicit. Now, you guys might be wondering, what is this bow, right? And this bow is actually a similar bow to the one that Path of Exile has, that he has gotten mirrored over, I think, it's at nearly 200 copies made, right? So the nice part about this bow is a synthesized bow. It has +1 arrow implicit. So you can see here, it has bow attacks fired an additional arrow. This type of bow is much harder to craft because of the fact that you can't fracture the +2 additional arrows. So you pretty much have to get the +2 additional arrows with prefixes cannot be changed and reforge attacks more likely. And if you get 1 additional arrow, then you have to do suffixes cannot be changed, reforge more likely, right? So it's very hard to get the +2 arrows, and it's also very hard to get the triple T1 elemental prefix. So this bow is different than Path of Maps because it has 2 additional arrows and an unveiled crit suffix. So this bow is not meant for Secrets to Suffering users who are able to cap out their crit. It's meant for people who want crit chance and strength and int. And I'm not really sure if this was the intentional purpose of this bow, or he's trying to make a similar one to Path of Maps and give people an alternative. Or maybe you're trying to beat Path of Maps and try to AUG speed it, but right, because Path of Maps bow is definitely not absolutely perfect as it has crafted attack speed. So the item roughly costs around 2,500 exalts or 8 mirrors. You can see here, this person says the total craft cost me approximately 8 mirrors, which is an absolutely mind-boggling amount of currency for most people, right? And this would have been the #1 elemental damage crit bow in the league. So what actually happened in this case? So he was on pretty much the last step of making this mirror item, right? On the last step of making a mirror item, you want to use Harvest to divine it in order to fix it up. The reason you want to use Harvest is because Harvest actually acts as a lucky divine, which means when you roll one of these mods, it rolls it twice and chooses the highest value, and this makes it infinitely easier to finish divining the mirror item, right? So what happened was the crafter accidentally used a reforge more likely instead of reroll prefix suffix implicit more like with lucky values, right? So you can see here, the guy gets the bow, right? He's like, reroll all, please. So he's telling him that he wants to reroll all, and he says, nice bow. So he obviously notices how nice this beautiful bow is, right? He's probably like, wow, I have in my hands one of the true best bows in the league, right? So then when he writes B, most people do this so that they can confirm what the bow was before, right? So then he did one, right? One divine, then two divines. And then he says again, please, then three divines. And then again, please, and then four divines. And then he notices something is wrong. So he says, bro. And then the other person notices that something is wrong too. And he says, OMFG. As is any reaction, right, to the event like this. And then he says OMFG again, and he takes a screenshot of this bow, which has now turned into 41 to 74 fire damage, 29 to 60 cold damage, 10 to 171 lightning damage, just 12% attack speed. So absolutely disaster struck, right? This bow is completely bricked. It needs to be rebuilt from the ground up, right? So this bow is completely done for. His name even got changed from Carry On Fletch. And Carry On Fletch is one of the top 10 names in PoE history. Now it's Soulwind. Like, come on, right? So what is the aftermath of this? SK Cloudy is actually helping out Zaboom remake the bow. So this is actually a tab I screenshotted on the stream. And it's kind of looking a little short on currency, if you know what I mean. So I do assume they'll fix it up eventually. Someone told me that the prefixes are finished, so they're about halfway done. And he will eventually hit the +2 arrows, as the suffixes are just a matter of currency. You pretty much just keep doing suffixes cannot be changed, or prefixes cannot be changed and reforged more likely until you get either 1 or 2 additional arrows, and then you have to gamble with the ash sling. So even though it's like almost there, it's gonna take a very, 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 very long time for it to be fixed, right? Or maybe he'll just get lucky, because I do think that Chris Wilson should honestly spare them, give them some luck, and fix this horrible disaster, right? So what's the conclusions we can make on this crafting story? So number one conclusion is you need to make sure when you are doing the item, you want to make sure you're double checking it, triple checking it that you have the right craft, especially when you're using the craft on a multi-meter item. Obviously the guy knew the item was good and it's just an honest mistake. And if you do make a mistake, be prepared to play PoE for the rest of your life. Like, you might think that you might be done with playing PoE for this league. Think again. You might be doing PoE for one league. You might be doing it for 1 year, or maybe 2 years, or 3 years, right? So I know a lot of people in this league, especially if you look at the Steam charts, and this is actually a huge problem in PoE right now. I had no idea that Elden Ring was that popular, right? The player numbers are so bad right now at the moment. I'm actually very surprised how bad the player numbers are doing. But Elden Ring, amazing game, right? 10 out of 10 across the board. So a lot of people are running out of motivation to play PoE. And if you want to play the league for 3 months, maybe just hit that wrong craft on the item, right? Because you might be spending the full 3 months to have a true purpose for grinding your currency again. Your purpose will be to remake the mirror item. So this is just some food for thought. If you're really having nothing to grind for, no motivation in the game, just brick a mirror item or two. I'm just kidding, of course. Do not brick any mirror items, as you might never make the item again, right? Like, if this item was bricked, you might never make this craft again. And you might just be playing PoE to play PoE to fix someone's item. And that might not be a true purpose in life. But hopefully this brings some insight onto some of the bricked item reports in this section. Let me know if you would like to see me do some more videos regarding this. This is pretty much a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I haven't really seen anyone mess up an item that was this expensive throughout my whole time of playing PoE. Maybe like in the preliminary stages, but never in the last stage, because this item was pretty much already almost done, and it just needed lucky divines in order to fix it up. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you find more mirrors, exalts, and maze was than me. The ore stacker is coming along nicely. Be prepared for an updated ore stacker video, and boy oh boy is the ore stacker as OP as ever. But thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.